What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another episode. This episode is a Chicago Bulls weekly episode where we look at the previous week, a very strong previous week, might I add, for the Chicago Bulls, and also looking at the week ahead, giving some results along the way. We got a lot to talk about for the Chicago Bulls. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls week this week and next week, whatever the case may be. Let me know in the comments below just about your thoughts from the Chicago Bulls. I feel like a lot of people are jumping for joy, are putting respect on people's names about the Chicago Bulls now, and it's about time that we got a lot of people's respect. We went through this week 3-0, or the previous week I should say. We were undefeated in this previous week, and by God, I hope we see a lot more of those weeks, because at the end of the day, going undefeated throughout the whole week just really boosts the morale of the fans, really just boosts people's spirits up. And of course, you just love to see when your team are winning, and not only winning against great competition. And that's what the Chicago Bulls did in this previous week. Looking at the first week with the first game with the Charlotte Hornets, where we won this game 133-119. This was an unbelievably strong offensive game from the Chicago Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets. Obviously, the two Ball brothers competing for it all, and the Bulls walked away with a victory there, and Lonzo had a strong game as well. This was an incredibly good offensive game, and it goes to show the progression and the level we can get to when we see everybody play at the highest level. That is the standard, in my opinion, of an offensive performance that we should be seeing on this team. I think defensively we could have done better, but Charlotte is a great offensive team, so we ended up having to step it up offensively, and that is the game. That's the game that I'm looking for the next time out. I really can't wait to see another game like that for the Chicago Bulls. Then we turn our heads to the New York Knicks, I should say, and we ended up winning that game 119-115. This was a game where we had an absolutely positively strong first half of the game, but then we allowed them to come back very quickly in the second half. But thankfully, with the game that DeMar DeRozan had, especially in the fourth quarter, we were able to hold off the Knicks, beating them in Madison Square Garden, which is always a big victory, always a positive victory, and a victory that you'd love to have every single time, every single season. You love to see the Bulls beating New York Knicks in their home turf, and hopefully that's something we can do when we face them again late on in the season. We do have them one more time. Let's see if we can have that repeat performance down then. We'll wait and see, but that's a really good positive win for the Chicago Bulls. And then the most recent game, the game that, in my opinion, we probably didn't deserve to win as much. A game where the stats were not on our side. We didn't play very, very well, and the Brooklyn Nets had some decent performances. But throughout all of the things put against us, we managed to win against the Brooklyn Nets 111-107. That fourth quarter, once again, was massive for the Chicago Bulls. And that's a trend that's been going for the Chicago Bulls for a while now. Usually, whether we have a bad second half or a bad third quarter, we have really bad third quarters at times, but we have an absolutely strong fourth quarter. We have one of the best fourth quarter teams in the NBA. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are one of the league leaders in fourth quarter points. Now, we might not make the clutches of the clutch shots, but in the fourth quarter, you can't argue that our team steps up when it needs to step up. And it shows against the Brooklyn Nets, it shows against the New York Knicks, it shows against the Charlotte Hornets, and most of the other teams where it's a close competitive game and we win, the fourth quarter is usually the standout for the Chicago Bulls. So that's a great win under our belt against the top Eastern Conference team. No must improve needed for, ladies and gentlemen, heading into the awards for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to go straight to the sixth man of the week, and this might be a controversial one because he only played 2 out of the 3 games. He technically played against the Brooklyn Nets, but even in that 8 minutes, he was really good for us. It's going to be Alex Caruso, and I don't know the update about Alex Caruso. I don't know if he's still injured because of a hamstring. I don't know if he's going to be playing the next game. I always thought that we should not have played him against Brooklyn, and I'll stand by that. I said it before the game, I said it after the game, and I'm saying it now. Hopefully it's not serious enough to the point where he misses a lot of games. If he misses the next game, fair enough. Obviously, hamstring tightness and soreness can take a while to recover from. Luckily, it's not a strain, unless something did happen against the Brooklyn Nets. There's a reason why he didn't return at the end of the day. It's something that I'm intrigued to see what we're going to do in relation to, but also you can't deny how strong he was this week for the bench. And again, he is our best bench player, and he's showing week in and week out just how important he is for the Chicago Bulls. He is an astronomical part of how we play, the defense that we provide. He's a leader on the team off of the bench, and you need those players on your team at any given time. I wish there were more Alex Carusos on this team, because at the end of the day, he's just absolutely a sensational player to have. We do have a lot of good bench players defensively, but even offensively, he is a key difference to the Bulls. So I really, really, really enjoy his weeks. I really enjoy when he plays, and I can't wait to see him play again. Hopefully, it's not too far away. The player of the week I'm going to give to DeMar DeRozan, a very easy one here, just by the miraculous fourth quarters that he tended to have in this week. Is unbelievable. Mr. Fourth Quarter, people are starting to call him now. That name used to be for Isaiah Thomas. I remember that back in the Boston Celtic days, but now that name is given to DeMar DeRozan, and he thoroughly deserves it. He's been clutch throughout the course of his career. Of course, he hasn't won a championship or anything like that, so many people tend to say he's not clutch in that area, but he has been through a lot of NBA experiences. He's been through a lot of tough games, a lot of grueling games. And most often, he's the one that leads them out. There's a reason why most of the teams he's on were successful. And he's a big reason why the Chicago Bulls are successful. He had a strong fourth quarter against the Knicks. He had a strong fourth quarter against the Nets. And he thoroughly deserves my player of the game. I thought he's unbelievable in this week. Looking at the course of this week, obviously a 3-0 undefeated week means that the Bulls record is 16-8, which is fantastic to see. Second in the Eastern Conference still, and we are just keeping the progression up. There are some teams that have lost a couple of games throughout this week, and we have not. So we've taken some advantages in the Eastern Conference, and all I can ask for the Chicago Bulls is to keep it up. But next week is not going to be easy as well. This week wasn't easy. We versed a lot of competitive teams, and we ended up winning close and competitive battles. Next week is going to be the same, because we have 3 games to look forward to, and I think these 3 games are going to be fairly difficult for the Chicago Bulls. But we have an opportunity to win all 3 of them if we play at our strongest. We'll wait and see how we do. The first game is going to be against the Denver Nuggets at the United Center. This is going to be a tough game for the Chicago Bulls, and the Denver Nuggets will be looking for retribution. Obviously, we beat them away from home, and that was the last game of our West Coast trip, I should say. And that was a game without Nikola Jokic, and we took advantage of their small ball lineup. They did have a close and competitive game the whole way through, but now it's time to see the Chicago Bulls and see if they can battle when both teams do have injuries now. We just had Nikola Vucevic out for that game and Patrick Williams. They're going to have Michael Porter Jr. out for this game. We're not going to have Javonte Green, probably Alex Caruso, Kobe White. None of them are going to be playing. So there's a lot of, toughness, and there's a lot of questions that are going to be asked of us, and we just have to keep battling through and see if we can get some victories. The next game is going to be against the Cleveland Cavaliers away from home. Many people might see the Cleveland Cavaliers and say, easy victory. We beat them in the preseason. We could probably do it again. I don't think many people understand that Cleveland have a 13-10 record and are 6th currently in the Eastern Conference. I don't think anybody expected Cleveland to be where they were from the beginning of the season till now. Maybe Cleveland fans, but even that's a bit of a stretch in my opinion. I think most people saw Cleveland falling to the wayside, falling out of the play-in tournament like they have done most years. And this is going to be the game, in official terms, that Larry Markkinen will play against the Chicago Bulls as well. That's going to be an interesting test, and we're going to have to wait and see how we fare with a player that does have size over us and a team that has massive size over the Chicago Bulls. There was a game in preseason where we won by 1 point. That was a close game, and their size was really big for them. So it's up to the Chicago Bulls to step up in a big way, and hopefully we can deliver against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then the last game could potentially be the most challenging. Once again, we face the Miami Heat, and this time it will be away from home as well. We're versing the Miami Heat in Miami's home turf. Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry. I don't think Bam Adebayo is playing for them, so it's going to be a tough game, the Miami Heat. They were tough heading into the United Center. I think many people thought we should have won that game at the United Center, and I'm one of those people. I believe we should have won that game. But again, good teams, when they don't perform well, like the Miami Heat and the Bulls, to be fair, both teams I don't think played particularly well. good teams find a way to win. So Miami found a way to win at the United Center when they weren't playing their best basketball. Hopefully we could do the same to them at their home turf and just show that we are still a top contending team in the Eastern Conference and we can find a way to win against any opposition no matter the circumstances. It's a hard week for the Chicago Bulls. It's not an easy ride by any stretch of the means, but it's a positive ride that I feel we can dominate if we continue to play at our best. We saw some good progression since the last loss to the Miami Heat, and let's see if the next time we verse them, we can also see just a better progression overall as a team. I can't wait to see that game. I can't wait to see Denver. I can't wait to see Cleveland. I can't wait to see this team continue to build on these strong performances. Let's hope they do a good job. Let's hope we don't fall into old habits. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly. If you watch every week, I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you next week. But if you watch a little bit more than that, I'll see you tomorrow. And hopefully I'll see you against Denver. Take care and peace.